Hello, hello, hello! We are back for another episode of Rainbow Unity TV. We are on episode two for the lucky twos. Now, before we jump into the show, I did want to get some housekeeping out of the way and then introduce our main topic for tonight. So, make sure you guys like and subscribe and become a part of the Rainbow Unity TV family. We would love to have you here. I did also want to mention that Rainbow Unity is a community for LGBTQ individuals, and we have Thursday night Zoom calls where we come together, commune, and laugh with one another. Now, without further ado, let's welcome on my co-host for tonight. Hello, 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 hello. We
Hey,
are. What did Alyssa Edwards say? We are back, 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 back again.
so excited episode two, and
Episode two.
I'm having any computer problems, which is so
Amazing. I'm like, no, because we hopped on 20 minutes early today to make sure that we got those problems out of the way. So tonight should be a smooth show, and I am incredibly happy about that.
okay. So please,
So today is our first topic, and the topic that we chose was surviving the darkness. Um, this I feel like this topic as a first topic was perfect. I feel like for us to go into because it's just something that LGBTQ people face on a regular basis. You know, and not to say that other communities don't also face those that darkness as well, but I just feel like it is something that is truly unique to our community in terms of, kind of how we go about it, how we live through it, and how we survive it. So I felt like today's topic was that was a great topic. Like, how do you feel about today's topic?
I really like it because it's a true thing that we all struggle through, and and how we come out on the other side of it, what strengthens us. So I think this is, and it's pretty relevant in the LGBTQIA plus community. So I think this is a very important topic that the community needs to hear. And maybe if you want to post a comment, leave us a comment on what you think and give us some topic ideas.
We
Share,
would love that.
subscribe, like, do all
All
that stuff.
all the fun things, honey, all the fun things, because we would love you to be a part of our community. We do also have a private Facebook page as well. We have a private group chat as well, and I am also creating a digital community for us to come together and post pictures, post statuses, talk about our day, even maybe post videos if I feel like coding that. And so I'm incredibly excited about getting that community off the ground, and I can't wait for that to become a real thing. So you already know that on Thursday nights we do these things called pals and wows. A pal is like a challenge of the week, and a wow is like a win of the week. So anybody that's watching the podcast today or watching the video days after this, we want you to post your pals and wows down below in the comment section. We would love to hear them. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I tell you what, you are so full of energy, and I'm
I am.
so why don't you go ahead with your first? You go first.
Okay, let's see. I feel like a wow this week was I had a couple of wows. I actually had an amazing week. Except for Friday, and we talked about what happened on Friday. I don't want to even hop into it. But I had an amazing week, and that's a huge wow. And I was very thankful for that. I also, one of my employees at work, I actually chose him as my employee of the month this month, and I did the shopping for him. And his gift is going to be incredible, and I hope he loves it. When it comes to a pal or a challenge for the week, um, I feel like Friday. I had a horrible, horrible Friday. And you know what? It was a lot better once 7 o'clock got here. But like the day throughout Friday was just a horrible day. Everything was going wrong. My mental health was on the decline horribly that day. I was in a horrible mood. So that I think that would be my pal for this week. Okay, what's yours?
Okay, my pal was, you know, it's a couple of things have happened this week that wasn't my favorite things, and part of it has caused me to resign from doing drag anymore. I'm retiring. So that is my POW. What happened to me hit me really hard. And I really don't want to get into it, but
We
it,
can in the main topic if you want.
I will. All the work that I've done, the volunteer work, and to, because of a couple of mistakes, I am not allowed to perform at Pride or whatever. And okay, so be it. So my wow is, um, I touched up the gray.
Oh, please. What gray? What gray?
I
You don't have any gray.
not now. It's all covered. I mean, girl, I almost look like Lillian Munster with all the gray streaks. It's like
Oh
that.
my God. I love your hair. Shut up. No.
But I had a great wow, and a great. I got to talk to. I'm talking to local businesses about sponsoring, and the reception is really there. So it's a great wow
That
to
is a
have.
great wow. That
So
is a great wow. And I cannot wait until we are able to talk about that openly, because it's going to be such a big thing for the community, and it's going to be something great that we're doing, and a lot of people are going to feel seen and valued and worthy, and that's what we're all about. So I am incredibly excited about talking about that whenever it is finalized.
exactly,
Okay,
yeah,
those were our pals and wows of the week, you guys. Make sure you drop your pals and wows down below in the comment section. We would love to hear them, see them, and read them. And you never know, maybe we might play them on the next show. So let's jump into our main topic for the night. Um, oh my gosh. I don't remember that that commercial, not that video of the McDonald's CEO where he was trying the big arch and he was looking at it, he was like, I don't even know how I'm gonna tackle this. That's how I feel right now. That's how I'm like, I don't even know how I'm gonna tackle this. I really don't. But it's a conversation that needs to be had. When you hear surviving the darkness, like when you hear just that phrase coming, what do you think? Like, what pops into your mind? What does it mean to you?
it means overcoming the negatives, the thing that puts you in a dark place. It, you know, I got through it. It reminds me of the man in the whole story, and I love
Yeah.
and so
Tell me about the man in the whole story.
okay, so there's this guy, he's stuck in a hole,
Okay.
and priest walks up to him and he says, "Hey, Father, I'm in this hole. Can you help me out?" And so the father gives him a blessing and walks on his merry way. Then the doctor comes through and he says, "Hey, Doc, could you help me? I'm stuck in this hole and I'm trying to figure the way out." And the doctor writes him out a prescription and throws it in the hole. And then I'm down there and you walk by and you jump in and I'm like, "What are you doing? Now we're both stuck here." And you turn and you say to me, "I've been here before. I know the way out."
Yes. I love that story. Why have you never told me about that story before?
Some things that's sitting in the back of the memory back here, this old
Yeah.
brain, it just, comes
You have so much wisdom that you can share. Maybe it just didn't come up.
back. Trigger.
So tell me about a time that tell me about a season that you kind of felt stuck in, a season that was really hard for you to get out of. Tell me kind of like what that looks like for you, and then kind of tell me how you overcame it.
You know, the holiday season is always the worst for me, um, because it triggers back memories of an abused childhood, as far as being violated as a young child and by family members. And, with therapy and everything, I come through it. And, when Christmas and Thanksgiving, those are the type of things that I used to go to my grandmother's house and I would have to see the people that touched me inappropriately and have dinner with them and just to see them. And I still have flashbacks about that and I still think about it. And how I survive it is counseling and trying to look for the good in people. That's how I survive it. I look for the good because in general, people are good.
Yes,
But
they are.
sometimes you got to look harder to find it. And knowing that I love people the way I do, and I care about people, I look for the good that's in them because I think that's what we all need to do is look for the good in people, not worry about what they did in the past or what
For
happened.
sure.
No.
Going through such a difficult thing is that like a traumatic, honestly, of something like that, and then having to be around those people and sit and have dinner with them. Like, how did you survive such a difficult season? Like, what is it that you did that kind of helped you get through that dinner or helped you to see the good in people that did such horrible things?
Well, to get through it as a child and as a kid, I learned that um, I just have to accept that they're in my family, and it was what they did to me was I had to show my love by doing that, by giving in.
Of course,
And I didn't get through it right away as a child and as a youngster. Even the military didn't help me overcome it.
because
Uh,
it's in your head. Yeah,
yeah, so once I started getting into therapy and I got started unboxing, uh,
yeah,
therapy has me, and I go to a really great place, and I'm not going to bring up religion or anything, but it's a really great place,
yeah,
and it taught me how I learned how to see the good and knowing that people. It's the philosophy that, excuse me for saying this, but we see the Christ in people.
yeah, for sure.
So I say seeing the good in people when we're
Yeah.
on.
Do you
But
know? Oh, keep going. I didn't want to interrupt you.
no, I was just saying that that's
Okay. Yeah,
basically it.
therapy is such a positive thing for people. There is so many people that's like, "Oh, therapy doesn't work. Therapy doesn't work." But honestly, when I hear people say therapy doesn't work, the first thing that pops into my mind is just like it's a muscle. Like it's a muscle just like anything else. It's a skill that you have to learn and master just like anything else. And just like you have to go to the gym and work off that gut, like your mind is pretty much the same way. Overcoming your trauma and overcoming difficult times is really kind of like the same way, where you have to go to therapy and you have to work that muscle out. um and it's helped me so much. Even I even combined it with life coaching. Like I combined therapy and I combined life coaching together, and it was so beneficial for me. I think when I hear the word surviving the darkness, I feel like the first thing that I hear or the first thing that I think about is control. For me, in my experience with the dark, there were a lot of the times where I let the darkness control me. I let it control how I talked and how I walked and how I moved and even where I went, because I was so afraid of facing it. And a lot of people are comfortable speaking with me and talking to me about things that they've been through in their lives. And I love that because I love just being a listening ear for people who need it, who may not have one. Um, and usually the first question that I ask them is, have you faced the darkness? Literally is the first thing that I ask them after they talk to me is like, have you faced the darkness? And a lot of the times the question is no, I have not, because I'm afraid. Um, and there was someone that I spoke with recently, like earlier this week, like Tuesday, and he said to me, he said, wounds heal, scars don't. So what do you do when you have that scar that's just like there? And literally, you know what, before how would you answer that? Like if I said to you, wounds heal, scars don't. So what do you do then? How would you answer that?
Honestly, that is kind of a tough one.
It is a hard one. I know. And when he said it to me, I was like, "Oh my god, you are so right." And the first thing that popped into my head is that yes, scars don't heal, but scars, they show us our past, they show us what we overcame, they show us what we've been through. And the goal again is control. The goal is never to allow our scars to control what we do and how we live our lives. That's the goal. The goal is surviving the darkness and coming out on the other side and not allowing those things to control us. And that's like exactly what I said to him. It's like, yes, like when it comes to therapy, and it doesn't work for everybody. However, that excuse that, yes, wounds heal, scars don't, what happens when you have scars? You survive the best you can. That's what you do. You
Right?
you survive, but you should always face the darkness because once you face it and once you get through it, it's going to change your perspective and the way that you see the world, which is such a powerful thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally correct because
Yeah.
if, you know, for years, I mean, you got to figure I came from a generation of the late 60s, early 70s.
I
I
could
was
only imagine.
early 60s.
Yeah.
And, child abuse, sexual harassment,
Mhm.
molestation wasn't even a thing, even though it was a thing, but there was no thing to protect the children back then.
Yeah.
Who could I run to? Who could I talk to? I told my mother,
Mhm.
and it was like, I don't believe you. So to be called
Yeah.
a liar, uh,
Yeah.
and it just, and I don't really want to harp on it, but it's like that scar is there.
Yeah.
But thankful for therapy, I'm starting to see the scar start to lose some of its grip.
It fades.
Yeah,
Scars fade. You're starting to see the scar fade.
yeah,
Exactly. You know what? And piggybacking off of that, um, child abuse was huge back then. And I speak very openly about it. I haven't spoken very openly about it recently because I've had other things going on. But I have spoken very openly about it in the past where I am a victim of child abuse. But I don't call myself a victim. I call myself a survivor because I survived it and I lived through it and I was able to use my story to help others. So I don't call myself a victim. I call myself a survivor. Um, and I went through, honey, listen, like to me, getting a spanking on your butt with a belt is not child abuse. That's just discipline, right? But it's the other stuff. Like the things that happened to me were beyond that. And you and I had that conversation about, the intimate things of what happened to me back then. And I was actually one of the first people in my town, if not the first person in my town. I came from a small town in Hope, Arkansas. It was a population of 10,000 people. I was the first kid in my town that actually spoke out about what happened to me, and there were consequences for what he did to me. And I was the first person that ever did that. And so much changed as a result of that. So many kids who were also being abused, it stopped because they saw my story and they saw what I did and they saw that I was able to protect myself and put this horrible person behind bars where he belonged. And that was something that I was very proud of. And I that's why I speak very openly about it because I saw the impact back then. This happened when I was in the third grade. And the abuse happened for God, probably about 5 or 6 years it happened.
right.
And he went to jail, and when he got out of jail, things changed and that abuse stopped. um and I saw the impact back then, which is why I speak about it even now sometimes. Um, I actually I actually saw somebody post on Facebook when they saw it, and they were like, "You should let that trauma go. You're 30 now," and I'm like, and they definitely were subbing me, but they didn't say it to me directly because they knew better. But I'm like, I'm not gonna let it go because I survived it and I healed from it. Like, I'm gonna talk about it because it's gonna help other people, and that's why I'm talking about it. I'm not talking about it because I'm not healed, honey. I healed years ago. Like, the wound, the scar is faded and the wound is gone. I'm healed from it, but now I want to help other people heal from it.
Same.
Um, yeah, like, so, with you going to therapy and you healing this abuse that you went through and or this traumatic time that you went through in your childhood, um, tell me about some maybe some habits that you developed that kept you grounded, that kept you motivated and kind of moving.
Some of the things that I have developed over the last few years was volunteering for nonprofits, getting involved. There's a song that reminds me just a little bit here. It's by Creed. It's called My Own Prison. I was creating my own prison with the abuse. I made my own cage, and I had there was one person that was holding the key. So how I overcame for it was starting doing working for nonprofits, volunteering, doing things with some of the things, talking to other people that are like me in the community, in the trans community, talking to them about their transition, helping them, getting adult trans kids, as it were. So I learned how to break out of my own prison because that's a habit us as adults do, or as people do. We create our own prison, especially as sometimes it feels good to be a prisoner, but I don't want to be stuck as a prisoner. So
Mhm.
thinking of positivity, focusing on the good, seeing the good in people, not not looking for the other shoe to drop, right?
Exactly. No, for
Because
sure.
you get that human nature, you, oh, my day is going really, really good, and then okay, where's the other shoe?
Exactly. See, I felt like that. I felt like that this week because my week was like I had such a good freaking week, and then
Right.
Friday gets here, and then bam, I'm like, okay, this was the other shoe. It's
It's
like I
that
was expecting it, like I was expecting it and waiting on it, which by the way is not good. which is not a good thing. Like you should not be waiting on bad things to happen or expecting for bad things to happen because at the end of the day, what are you going to do about them? Like, there's nothing that you can do about these bad days. There's nothing that you can do about these unfortunate events that happen. Like, you really just have to keep survive. You have to survive and just keep going through it because what are you going to do about it? There's nothing that you can do. I actually had a conversation today with someone about killing the police in your head. Like it's funny that like that you mentioned that because literally when you mentioned that it popped into my mind. Kill the cop in your brain, right? The cop that polices how you behave, the cop that stops you from moving or doing, the cop that tells you that you're unworthy or too fat or too ugly or too dark or too light. You have to kill that cop in your brain. And I actually had a show idea to do that topic up. We're gonna have to do that topic one on one of the shows. I think for me, like when I was going to therapy and mixing it in together with life coaching, I developed this thing called a gratitude journal, or created this thing called a gratitude journal. And in that gratitude journal, for like 1 to 3 times a day. I was very aggressive. I was very aggressive with it. I would force myself to write down 3 good things that happened for me that day. And I did this literally for about 30 days. I committed to 30 days. Um, and that was so beneficial and so helpful for me. I also did mirror affirmations as well, where I forced myself to look at myself in the mirror and say good things about myself. Um, and those were incredible. Both of those mixed together. I also created a self care day for myself where once a week I would do a face mask, a foot mask, a bubble bath with candles and soft music in the bathtub. And that was just kind of like my time just for an hour, once a week to just kind of unwind and relax and just sit in stillness and just be grateful for the life around me.
Right.
Because again, even if bad things are happening, even if bad things are going on, you still need to figure out a way to sit still. You still need to figure out a way to say positive things and nice things. You still need to figure out a way to survive the darkness, because if you don't survive the darkness will eat you alive and you won't survive it. And you and I both know of a plethora of people that has taken their own lives, that have self-harmed because they did not survive the darkness, because they could not sit in stillness, because they could not just come to terms with the fact of their lives or whatever, and they let it eat them alive. And that's why I feel like this was such an important topic for us to talk about, because queer people, and I'm going on a tangent, I'm so sorry, I love to yap. Because queer
You,
people, I know, right? You
what?
know because as queer people, we deal with so much darkness every day. We deal with people calling us ugly, or being rude to us for no reason, or taking things away from us. We also deal with ourselves, looking at ourselves as worthless, as not worthy of love, as not valuable, as not wanted. And it gets ugly to the fact that the suicide rate is up in our community now. And I just feel like coming up with coping mechanisms, or just trying to figure out how to love ourselves, period, and especially in a world like today, is so important. And honestly, really, for not even just queer people, but for everybody, because everybody is struggling and going through things mentally. I feel like we're going through one of the biggest mental health crises. I feel like I don't even know, like, at this time, for like, really. Um, so yeah, I love everything that you said. So, um,
Thank you. I just got a message while you were talking.
no
Uh,
way.
one of my best friends from across the street is watching us for the first time.
I
Me a message and say, "I see you." So hi,
see you.
hi, Erica.
Hi,
I
Erica. Thank you for watching.
Yeah,
Period.
uh, never out there that knows us. Put a little comment and just say hi, and so we know, and we'll call you out. We'll just say, "Hey, so and let you know
Yeah, let's do it.
we want
Um,
our friends and allies and stuff to just recognize us, and we're not that big of celebrities yet.
LOL, with two viewers. You're so funny. Have you went through anything dark recently, like in your adult life? Like, what was one of the darkest seasons in your adult life? I know that a lot of traumas are created when we're kids, but a lot of traumas, also happen, and when we're adults. I know I went through one of the toughest traumas in my adult life. What was one of the toughest seasons in yours?
That's a good question because it just happened within the last few months. In fact, one is just recently, is last night, and I think I talked about it in my POW.
You
Um,
did, so expand on it.
well, it was just one of those things. I was a leader in an organization, and I did some things that were deemed inappropriate, and I apologized for them.
You're muted. You muted.
There we go. I don't know why it muted, but anyways, if I don't know what you heard, but I did some things that were wrong, and I apologized. But being that I love to do drag and stuff, and I just took it on as a hobby for just for the last 4 or 5 months, uh,
Yeah.
I was asked I can't perform anywhere because I make people feel uncomfortable, or so basically I'm not going to any prides this year. I went to one and I'm just gonna not be there. And
Why not? At any of them?
I picked the ones that I want to go to now, and those
Yeah,
I'm going to focus on. But I'm not bitter toward those people that have don't want me to perform or whatever. Hey,
yeah,
this is a community of love is love, and we overlook some of these things that,
yeah.
as a human and as an adult, I understand that they were put in a terrible position.
And I will say, let me just say really quick, for the people watching, what she did was not that bad. What she did is was actually not bad at all. I've seen much in by the way, I was a drag performer. I performed for 8 years. I performed for 8 years. I performed in 5 different states, and I was also a pageant queen. I have won 5 titles, and I have placed in three. So I've performed a lot. And I will say that what I seen was much, much, much worse than what she actually did. So the people who like said this about her were actually just being dramatic, and they had something against her, and they used this as a way to harm her. Okay, keep going. That was my 2 cents.
So, like I said, no, I'm glad you put that in there.
Yeah,
Uh, and you know what? I thought about it, and you know what? I will still welcome organizations that are like that, that are in the LGBTQ community, to be a part of Rainbow Unity, because I'm not going to be the problem that the community can't unite. I'm going to
yeah,
be part of the solution. And you know what? Love your enemies, forgive those. That's me. That's what I do.
yeah.
And that's what I'm going to do.
And we actually created Rainbow Unity because things like that happen. Because
Exactly.
there are cruel people in our community that use their power to abuse people and harm people. And the reason that we created Rainbow Unity was because we wanted to unite all people in our communities and not harm them because of some type of vendetta, or because we're jealous or envious, or whatever. We wanted to give everybody a space to come and be joyful and be happy and commune with each other. That's literally why we're here. And so yeah, I actually what I like when you said that to me earlier, I was against it. I was like, there's no, first of all, we're not inviting these people to be a part of anything involving us. But then I'm like, actually, yes, we are, because that's not what we're about. We're about joy and love and hope and peace, and uniting, which is in the name, Rainbow Unity. We're about uniting people to come together and be together, as one. And so, I had to kind of put myself in check and kind of say, actually, no, I may feel this way. However, um, we're about unity. Like literally rainbow unity. We're about unity. So it wouldn't be fair for us to at least, I would like for us to unite with all of the nonprofits in our area,
Right.
all of the organizations in our area, and that includes them. And so we're definitely going to extend the invite for them to come on the show. I highly doubt that they would say yes. I'm sure they'll say no, but I still would like to extend the invite just because that's what we're about. So
Exactly. And here's
yeah,
my, how about what happened in the past? The past is gone. It's
yeah,
not coming back. And
yeah,
tomorrow isn't here yet. So how
mm,
about we focus on what we could do right now? And
exactly.
what Rainbow Unity is going to do right now is, like you said, and I'm going to piggyback off it. You
Yeah,
know what? We're going to clear the darkness. We're going to make it. This is a new organization. We're going to rise above it and
exactly, for sure.
be like the phoenix, baby, the fire. We're going to
Coming
rise.
out of the ashes. I love that.
Yes, girl.
I love that. So let's go ahead and end this topic of surviving the darkness. Let's answer one more question. Like, what gives you hope when things feel uncertain or rocky, or they just don't feel right? Like, what gives you hope to keep going on through that uncertain time?
Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
Rainbow Unity.
Oh, no way. Shut up.
Rainbow Unity and my partner and my friends, and um because you know I'm a proud person, and
Yeah.
I know one thing. What also gets me through it is three words: I am enough.
Period. Exactly. I love that. And you are right. I feel like for you, and first of all, you answered that perfectly. I mean, I really don't even want to give my response. I really would like to just end the segment on that. But I feel like I mean, I would just piggyback off of that. It would just be the things in my life that make me happy and bring me peace. And that's my family, my friends, that is my career. Um, all of those things bring me peace and they make me happy, and that's kind of what keeps me going in uncertain times.
Yeah.
So yeah. So all right, let's end that segment. And before we move on to our next segment, let's hear a word from our sponsor.
Hey, Rainbow Unity's main mission is to honor military vets, LGBTQ veterans that have served, who proudly put on the uniform and serve their country. We are here to pay homage and respect and salute them, plus all of our veterans. As a veteran, you know, I'm a part of the LGBTQ community, and all veterans deserve respect. When you put on that uniform, that's what we're about. We're about solidarity, we're about welcoming, we're about community, we are about honor and respect, and nobody is alone. And my motto is we leave no one on the battlefield. So if you are an ally, if you are a veteran, if you are a member of the LGBTQ community, you're welcome here. You're safe here. You belong here because Rainbow Unity is created for you. And there's our website back there, rainbowunitywear.com. Go check out the site and see some of the lovely things that we've created. You'll really like it. Thank you.
Yes, I love that. I love that, you guys. And that is rainbowunitywear.com for the people who did not hear it. Again, that is rainbowunitywear.com. Now, we have a brand new segment that we are introducing for the first time tonight on our second episode. And that segment is the What Would You Do segment, where we ask, What would you do? And you give us a response. So if you love this question, please make sure you comment your answer down below. We would love to hear from you. Now, what would you do? There was like I had so many choices and it was very hard for me to pin it down. But I think the question that I want to ask is what would you do if you kept failing at something that you really wanted? What would you do if you kept failing at something that you really wanted? Put your answers down below in the comments. We would love to hear. Do you want me to go first or do you want to go first?
Go ahead because I got to think about this one for a minute.
I think for me, this was like a really hard question for me. Number one, because it's happened before, right? Like I really wanted a couple things that I just kept failing at that I just could not get right. And you know what? What I did was I kept getting up. A lot of the times when you are failing at something or when things aren't going the way that you want them to go, literally you just have to keep showing up. You keep showing up, you fail again, you get back up, you keep showing up, you fail again, and you just repeat it until you stop failing at it. So a lot of what I do is just I get up and I keep going, right? And I combine that with work. I combine that with learning, figuring it out, trying to shape my perspective in the way that I see it so that the next time I get it right. So I think I hope that I didn't just yap that answer. Like I hope you understood what I was saying. I kind of feel like I was yapping, but I feel like that's how I would respond to that. All right, how would you respond?
What was the question again?
Oh my god. What would you do if you really wanted something but you kept failing at it?
Well, what I would honestly do is I would keep trying because I would get up. Every time that I would get knocked down, I would come back even stronger and more ambition and more motivation to do it because it's I would feel that if it's that important, it needs to get done. And I have to reach deep with inside of me and just every ounce of energy or strength I got to make sure I could reach that moment that I did it, no matter what the consequences were.
That was a good answer. I like that. Okay, that was a good segment. That was a nice "What Would You Do" segment. All right, let's wrap this thing up and drive this thing home. Before we get out of here, what's one thing that you think the viewers should do this week that they could use to take care of themselves? What's one small thing people can do this week to take care of themselves? Because I feel like I completely butchered that.
You know what? I think the best thing, because I do it every day, everybody has mirrors in their house, whether it be a full size or a little one or a pocket mirror, whatever. Look at that mirror and just say, I love you.
Yes, every day.
I love you. You are enough. You
Yes,
are worthy. I'm worthy. I am enough. I love
yes.
you.
I am valuable. I love that. For me, I'm gonna go a little bit more practical. I'm gonna say go to Target, spend $10 on a face mask, a foot mask, and a bubble bath. Get you some candles and play soft music, and just sit in stillness for an hour this week. Okay, you guys. This has been an amazing episode too. I had so much fun tonight. But before we go, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Make sure you comment down below and come back next week for episode 3. We cannot wait to see you go. But before we go, we want everybody to remember be you and,
Love.
and respect you. Bye, bye, everyone.
Everybody. Love you all.
Bye.